I heard this quote years ago about abundance, right? Abundance is not the thing that we create. It actually exists all around us. And what we create as human beings are limitations. And that's what stops us, right? And so when we think about crabs in a barrel, you have a lot of people with a scarcity mindset as opposed to an abundance mindset. And like Jay-Z talked about that as well, where he was just like, have you ever thought about crabs don't exist in a barrel? They exist in the ocean. And so, of course, you're going to have people pulling things down because they're in an environment which they were never intended to be in. And so the easiest thing to do is pull on the thing that is around you because everybody is trying to escape out of the environment that they were never intended to be in to get back to the ocean, which is expansive and where they're always ultimately supposed to be. And so that's it, right? I think it's all of us to be thinking about no one around you is your competition, right? Like you are your competition. The words that you feed into yourself every single day about what's possible and what's impossible is your competition. That is the only thing that stands in the way. I'm in a really amazing mastermind, and the guy who founded the mastermind, Myron, like we were having that conversation because my whole thing is like the pie is big enough for everyone to get a slice, and he was like, no, we don't eat from the pie. Like we eat from the garden. And consumption actually creates more when you eat from a garden, right? And pie, you eat it and your slice is done, right? It only goes into you. But when you eat an apple and you get to the core of eating that apple, what do you get? More seeds. And when you plant those seeds, you actually grow not only more apples, but more apple trees. And so what we need to be striving for is actually eating from the garden because consumption actually creates more. And I was like, okay, yes, right? Like, let's be eating more from the garden because that allows all of us to be replenished and be whole and be nurtured. And as a result of us getting the things that we need out of the garden and consuming, we actually create more. And then everyone around us does not have any lack. And so that's how I look at it, right? Not everyone looks at that. And I think not everyone gets to that point of clarity in their life. But when you do, it frees you. When you realize that your brother and sister next to you are not your competition and that each and every one of you can win, if you open up your heart and your mind to it, you create an environment where every single person can win. Just because I'm winning, it literally does not stop anybody else from winning. Right? Like my life has been centered around helping other people win and helping people not go through nearly as much amount of pain that I'm in. And it breaks my heart if anyone ever feels like I'm competition or if I've stopped them from doing or achieving the thing that they want, because that's never been the intention. And I hope that's not the intention of people that are around me. But the reality is you have people that are like that. Right? They see someone winning, and instead of either applauding or saying, let me follow those footsteps, they say, how can I erase those footsteps as fast as I possibly can? And that's just such a horrible waste of energy and the time that we have, right? And time is the only commodity that none of us can get back. And so why would you ever waste it on hate? And jealousy, and not channel that into energy of saying, how can I be the best version of myself? And let's expect that from people that are around us, right? I think the other part of that, Brendan, is us sharing more of the clues, right? Pharrell always talks about the codes, like sharing more of the codes. There's a way that we are taught things happen, and then there is the reality, right? And if we can share more of that, then things change. I have a group of friends in like the nonprofit ecosystem building space. And when we're working with funders, like we share, like this is how much they offered us. Why? Because when you go in, I want to make sure that you don't lowball yourself. And because if they try you and they can go lower you, they're going to try everybody else. And that's what starts to pit us against us. Like, I think one of the things that pits us against us more than anything are corporations and nonprofits and foundations. I know we probably don't need to go into that today, but they pit us against each other. Who is your competition? Like, why are you asking me that? Like, why are you putting me in the mind frame of someone who is dedicated to impact to be thinking about my brother and sister as competition? Why are you better than this company? No, you should be asking me, how can we collaborate? Who are your collaboration partners? Who are your dream partners? In other environments that I'm in the mastermind group that I'm in, I don't get asked who are my, who's my competition. It creates the